Hello again, comic book lovers. I'm Wild Bill from Comic Book Geezers, and this is my partner in crime.
I'm Pete. How are you?
And as promised, we're doing more Monsters, Part 3. You guys seem to like our monster horror-themed comic books, and so do we. I'm a big horror comic book fan.
Can't get enough of the monsters, guys, and neither can we, you know?
So we did 2 episodes of Tomb of Dracula, which you guys seem to love, and Pete has recently acquired some more Tomb of Dracula issues, so we're going to kick it off with Tomb of Dracula.
Yeah, so, you know, at the end of the Tomb of Dracula episode number 2, we were kind of like, oh, man, it kind of sucks that this is coming to an end. But lo and behold, I had a bunch of holes in my collection that I still
gaps.
That I needed, gaps, and I decided to go out and get them all. And
important clutch issues. Show them what you got here.
So we're going to show them to you today. So here, the Holy Grail of the Tomb of Dracula series, number 10, against this the debut of Blade, a great issue.
First appearance of Blade.
First appearance of Blade. I just had to go out and get that, so that's worthwhile. And then I'm just going to breeze through some of these real quick because, again, we may have shown a couple of these here.
We did the whole run already, but
but some of these
we didn't show because we didn't have them.
Number 24, number 43.
I had that one. 43 I don't have.
And this is a cool one. The Marriage of Dracula, number 46.
Ah, who did he marry?
I don't know. Some hag, right? No, probably some.
She was human, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Number 53. I think we've shown this one before.
Yeah, I have that one, I believe.
Okay. Here we have
45. Is that 45?
That is 54.
54. Yeah, that's cool, a nice one too.
So again, there's all his normal
villains,
foes there.
Yes,
we've shown this one
his
before.
Villains,
number
humans.
55.
I have 55. We've shown that before.
Yeah. This is a cool one. We've shown this. This is kind of like the book on the front.
Yeah, with the author that interviewed him.
Harold?
Yes.
And then we've definitely shown this one before.
Yeah, I have that. I have this one. With the evil darts coming out of the wheelchair.
Right, yeah.
And he turns the mist to avoid the shot.
Yep.
Yes. As he does so many times.
There's Mr. Blade again.
And we've shown this one, 59. I think I have this one. That's definitely cool.
And we've shown this one as
well. Yeah, this one I have.
This is 68.
That's the last in my collection.
Yeah. And then, whoop, I got someone's out of order here, folks.
Well, show them. Who cares?
Holy smokes.
They just like the monsters.
Just love the monsters. Number 60. Look at that great cover. And we've shown this before. Fighting his son, Janus, 62.
And I've shown that one before.
We've seen this one before
Repeats,
as well.
but I don't care.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Check this out.
That's a good one.
Like that color.
This is number 64, Battling Satan.
Good use of the colors on that cover.
Yeah.
That is definitely cool.
Mr. Gene Colan.
You can't go wrong with the horror artwork.
No. And especially if Gene Colan's doing it.
And if you've seen any of our episodes, we interviewed Joe Sinnott, who is an artist and a colorist for Marvel Comics, and he was good friends. He told us he was good friends with Gene Colan.
Yes, indeed.
It's a short video.
Watch it. It's a lot of
fun. Please watch it.
Yeah.
We're going to see Joe Sinnott again next month at a con. And I'm going to get him to autograph some of my books.
Number 67, look who's here.
Yes, I have
Lilith,
this one.
We showed this one before.
Yes.
His arch nemesis and daughter. And how about this one? Cross of Fire.
Oh, definitely cool.
Yeah.
Man.
Now
I go to giant size.
So
comics.
I wound up getting all the other giant size. So unfortunately,
and how many did they do? About 5 or 6?
Just 5.
Yeah.
So the first one was actually giant size Chillers, and I had him and Lilith on the cover. And then they made it. From there, it was giant size Dracula. So here we've got number 2.
Now, question for you: didn't they do Chillers after that as well? Did they split one for Dracula, one for Chillers?
They did a Marvel Chillers run, not a giant size, but yeah, they actually had a Chillers magazine. In fact, Tigra was
in there
as well as Manwolf was in a couple of seasons as well. Here's a cool one, number 3.
Definitely cool. Again with the
damsel in distress.
She fainted.
Here's a cool one. The Demon of Devil's Lake. Look at that. Kind of cool, macabre.
This one's been faded. You can tell this was sitting in the sun. This is what happens when you leave your comics out in the sun.
Yep.
Ultraviolet light deteriorates.
They lose that brightness. Okay. Yeah. And here's the final
See the difference? How the colors pop on this one? The other one was like kind of faded.
So this is the last of our Tomb of Dracula, guys. You're not going to see any more, but unfortunately, we've got more Dracula.
I recently acquired this at a flea market. This is based on Marvel Classic Comics was a series that ran 36 issues and then stopped, but they would do issues of classic novels, and this is actually depicted from the classic novel, the originator, the author who Bram Stoker, trying to spit it out.
But as you can see, they kept the character intact that we were familiar with.
Yes.
In Marvel.
Bring that next over.
So as you can see, it's basically the same guy, but what they did was they just took the Bram Stoker storyline and injected it.
So this is going to follow the novel,
right?
Not the story of Tomb of Dracula. And this is 58 pages or 52 pages. This is issue 9. This is probably from like 1975.
Does that say no ads on the front?
Yes, no ads. I haven't read this yet, but I'm getting it. I saved my horror books because I love them so much. Recently got this one.
Look at that.
Beware, the monsters are coming, beware. This was an 8-issue run, and I have shown most of these, but I have filled the gaps recently. I needed number 1. I saw this book like 2 years ago at a flea market. It was beat up, and they kind of wanted $10 for it. I was like, no thanks.
Good thing you waited.
I waited. I got this for $6.50.
Now, when you were a kid, do you remember Beware? I don't remember
No,
Beware.
and it was a bi-monthly book,
Yeah.
but it had awesome covers.
Some of these horror comics.
This is issue 3. I've shown issue 2 before, so I'm not going to do it again. This is issue 3, and this cover was done by Rich Buckler. Is that it? How you say it?
Rich Buckler. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yep.
Buckler and Joe Sinnott.
Joe Sinnott.
And when I meet Joe Sinnott again next month, I'm going to get him to autograph this.
There you go.
Definitely get Joe to sign this. Then I think I showed 4, 5, and 6, so why bother again? Because I got so many to show you. This is issue 7.
Look at that.
Evil monster. Looks like an evil wave. The water just forms up.
That is a great cover.
And these books all have like 3 or 4 stories inside. So
they show the artist on there? Who drew that? That's great.
This one they don't tell on the cover.
That almost looks like a Mike Ploog cover.
You think so?
Yeah, it looks like it.
It could be.
It looks like it.
And this is issue number 8. Evil Hand. And this is actually an alien from another planet. And he lands on Earth. And he starts scapping people up.
Is that a footprint they're sitting in right
Yeah, it's his footprint. Definitely cool. Then, keeping in a horror theme, I needed to get some of these supernatural thrillers.
I have that one.
My first was issue number 6 of The Headless Horseman. These were like different stories, but predominantly the living mummy dominates these stories. But this is the thing that couldn't die.
Yep.
Kind of right around the same time as the Man-Thing came out. It's kind of like a Man-Thing monster made of muck and swamp material. And this is a 1-story issue. And he just wreaks havoc on this farmer village. And this is a great story. But what happens is he gets chased into a stream and the water washes him away. He dissolves in the water. So that's how they kill off this monster. Actually, water in a running stream kills him.
Not as
solid as
this guy.
This guy's not solid at all.
No.
The Invisible Man. This is issue number 2. I've needed this for a long time. I have the first 14 issues now of this, and I've shown off other ones, so I won't show them to save time. But this I recently got. Follows the story of H.G. Wells very well, and the movie, if you've ever seen the classic with Claude Rains. And this is it in comic book form. So
I'm surprised they didn't do a classics issue of this instead of throwing in Supernatural.
They have.
Oh, okay, I thought so.
They did. I think it's issue number 2, and it's on my wish list.
Okay.
They also did the Phantom of the Opera and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yep.
Which is I'll get. This is issue number 3, and this is from an Edgar Rice Burroughs story. The guy who created Tarzan. I believe it's Edgar Rice Burroughs. Yes. No, Robert E. Howard. The Conan creator. Good story.
Like Conan type of barbarian there with blonde hair.
With the evil snake monster here.
Oh, wow.
Again, a one story issue, not multiple stories, but a great artwork. Then one of my favorite villains, horror villains of all time, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is the only from the early 70s. Great story. At the end, I'll let you know what happens. Mr. Hyde had just killed a diplomat and he's being chased through London by the police. This takes place in the late 1800s. He's running across the rooftops and he slips on some wet tile and falls off and hits the ground and dies and changes back into Dr. Jekyll. So he dies at the end. But that's never happened in the movies.
Spoiler alert.
That's all right.
Yeah. Here we go.
Issue number 7. The Living Mummy. He first appeared in issue 5, which I've already shown before, so you'll have to backtrack to go see that. He continues right up through issue 15. This is issue 8.
Great cover.
Great cover. And he was actually a king of his people, like from 2,000 years ago. I can't even say his name. It's weird. It's like an N-K-N something, Canuck or something like that. It's hard. It's a mouthful. I just move on, you know. So he goes into this pyramid, and he enters this room, and the villain traps him and tries to drown him. And because his body can't float.
Yeah, you would think water and mummies no good.
Yeah, especially with the bandages getting wet. And he does feel bullets when he gets shot by people. It stings him, but he survives. But he's actually a good character. He's actually a good guy. And this is issue 12. So that concludes my supernatural thrillers. Moving along, these I don't think I've shown this, but Vault of Evil I've shown before. This is issue 13, and I don't believe I've shown this one off. I picked up a couple recently to add to my collection, and I'm not sure how far this series goes. Maybe into the 30s. But
you keep finding more and more of them.
Yeah. So. Then I found this one. This is issue 18. The other one I just showed was issue 22. I could have bought 16 and 17, but they were beat up. I also have issue 15.
The guillotine.
And this is issue 22. Right here. The other one was 13, I'm sorry. The first one was 13. This is issue 22. Again, these usually have 3 or 4 stories on the inside. All like the Twilight Zone, Twist of Fate. Really good. Then I came across these recently. I love this one. Chamber of Chills. This is issue 9. I bought 3 of them. And this is like from 1972 or 73. Great artwork. Haven't read this one yet, but I will get there.
And I did not remember Chamber of Chills from back in the day.
This one, when I saw this is what caught my eye.
Yeah,
Number 8.
How could it not?
That is just an awesome. I'm wondering if that's a Mike Plug cover.
It kind of looks like it. It might be. It also kind of looks like Bernie Wrightson too. I don't know.
Okay.
It's one of those
he
guys.
was, but he was DC, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he did some covers for Marvel.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
This is definitely awesome. I just love this cover, and this one I like. Sometimes
maybe one of our viewers knows who did that cover. If you do,
perhaps, let us know.
Evil Knievel.
Evil Knievel was very popular. Sometimes the back covers are just as cool. I used to have this toy when I was a kid. I had the van and everything, the ramp. I wish it still had to be worth something. But you need the original box, really. But this is just shows you the glory of comics from the 70s. They just don't make them like this anymore. And then the oldest, because I only bought 3. This is issue number 4 of Chamber of Chills. But again, evil gesture spirit. This spirit lures this guy into this crypt so he can be released. This guy, he was talking in his head like mental telepathy. He goes into this tomb and there's a wall. He tells this guy, get that hammer, break down this wall, and when he does, he frees this guy. And then this guy gets trapped in there. That's his reward. Thanks.
Frank Brunner artwork there?
I believe that is.
Yeah. So, of course, you guys know
He's
him.
got his name down here, right?
Did the first bunch of issues of Howard the Duck?
Yes.
Oh, look at this.
Tomb of Darkness. I only have 2 other issues, but this is issue 23. And I got this at a flea market for $1, so you can't go wrong with that. Some people want as many as between $7 to $10 a piece for these books, but they do have great covers. Speaking of great covers, moving on. Where Monsters Dwell. Awesome. Anything with Frankenstein, I'm there. This is great. You got the evil Igor. Frank's a little pissed off.
Yep.
Breaking his restraints. But again, these have 2 or 3 stories inside. So this story is not very long, maybe 6 pages. But definitely cool. It's the first story of the book. So I don't have any of these in my collection, so I saw a stack of these, so I jumped on it. This is probably from 1974. It's 25 center. That was issue 32 I just showed you. This is issue 33.
Trag.
And, monster down in the subway tunnels. This is great. This guy goes down there exploring. It's been roped off by the cops. He lies and says he's a scientist. He goes down. He's a reporter. He's snooping around. And this monster sees him like, you don't belong down here. I'm going to kill you. It's a great story. Issue 34. This is a cool story, too, because there's this guy that can communicate with bees, kind of like Aquaman with the living sea creatures. So there's this man that can communicate with bees and gets more honey out of them. And he's like a honey farmer tycoon. And he's got a worker. And the worker wants to kill the bee master and rob his bank vault. And he shows up at his house and holds him at gunpoint. And the bee master reduces the villain down to bee size. And then the bees take their revenge on the criminal. A great twist of fate.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Ugh.
This is another one where monsters dwell. Pete and I were talking before we showed. This looks like a Jack Kirby cover.
It certainly does.
You know, we could be wrong about that, but it does have a Jack Kirby style to it. It's very possible. This is issue 35.
Giant gargoyle.
It's definitely cool. And this is the last from my Where Monsters Dwell. What an appropriate werewolf story.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely cool.
Attack of the Missing Link.
And speaking of monsters, I've shown this title off before, Monsters on the Prowl. This is the old, I don't think I've shown this one off before, so I'll show it today. This is issue 16. And that's Kull, the barbarian, who was also created by Robert E. Howard, the Conan creator. And he goes underwater with these giant, like, alligator fish. Lots of sharp teeth. Look out. And this is another one, like a monster from the swamp. I don't think I've shown this one off before in the essence of saving time. But again, we're Monsters on the Prowl. Then, we talked about the Man-Wolf before. Creatures on the Loose. He ran like from what, issue 30 to like 38?
Something like that.
This is issue 35. I saw this. I had to jump on. I have like a couple of this. This is like the third Man-Wolf from Creatures on the Loose.
Son of J. Jonah Jameson.
Then I got another title called Weird Wonder Tales. Again, 3 or 4 stories in a book. This is like, again, from issue like 1974. And in this one, we have Stan Lee as the writer. We have artists, 2 different stories. One is Steve Ditko, and the other one is John Buscema. So actually, Steve Ditko does 2 different stories in it. I think there's 4 stories in this book. Definitely great artwork. Weird Wonder Tales. That was issue 5. This is issue 14. And again, this guy summons this spirit from hell, and he pays for it because the spirit's kind of pissed off. And they trade places. Definitely cool story. And again, another cool back cover of Evil the Knievel. So Evil Knievel was hot.
All the rage back then.
He was the best stuntman, jumping cars. The people don't do that anymore, really.
No.
They don't. If they do, they don't get as famous as Evil Knievel.
They know what's good for him.
Yes.
It's not safe.
He broke every bone in his body at some point in time. This is the last of my horror series here, Weird Wonder Tales. This is issue 19. And Dr. Druid, it's his first appearance.
And that is definitely a Jack Kirby cover right there.
Yes. And this is a half gorilla, half lion monster, which guards this fortress. And this doctor comes in. He's actually a good guy, and he gets attacked by this. He has to. He's been summoned by a Buddhist monk to heal him. He's dying, and he has to go through he has to get past this monster to get to his patient. And he wasn't getting paid. It was like a charity pro bono offer. He wasn't being paid. He was a doctor. He flew to the Himalayas to help this Buddhist priest. And when he gets past this monster, the Buddhist priest surrenders his power to Dr. Druid. So that's how he gets his powers, as the other guy is on his deathbed. Interesting story.
Yeah.
Again,
another series that I never heard of.
And great covers. And I got this for $1 from a flea market. So how could you go wrong? Anyway,
go to flea markets, folks.
Yes.
You can find a lot of good stuff. Flea markets and yard sales and things like that. You never
Moving
know what
on
you
with
find.
some more monsters.
Yeah, more monsters, kind of sci-fi, kind of monsters. So everybody remembers the Planet of the Apes movies and TV shows. Right? How could you not? Well,
we
we
grew up watching the repeats. There were movies from the 60s with Charlton Heston.
So, of course, Marvel had to jump on that bandwagon. So first Marvel started out with a black and white magazine of Planet of the Apes. It was actually drawn by Mike Ploog. Really, really good stuff. And then they launched into a limited color comic series called Adventures on the Planet of the Apes.
This is probably, 1974, 75?
Yeah, so 25 center. Yeah, so early mid-70s. So here's the issue number 1. And basically the storylines followed the movies, but it only ran for 11 issues. I have all of them but 1. I don't have number 10. Here's number 2. So again, you'll see by some of the cover art that it's basically following the storyline that you remember from the films. Mike Ploog did not work on the artwork on these.
On the inside?
Unfortunately, no. But it's still pretty good. I believe George Tusk, I believe.
Oh, the Iron Man artist.
Yep.
From the mid-70s.
So they're...
Kind of guy looks like kind of Hercules, but that's supposed to be
a little bit.
That's Heston's character?
Yeah.
Okay.
So here he is again. This is a cool cover right here.
Look at that. Looks like he's in court.
Yeah, exactly.
Not doing too good.
Fury of the Forbidden Zone. Everybody remembers the Forbidden Zone, right?
Oh, another yellow background cover.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I love it. Here, the only way you will enter the Forbidden Zone is dead.
Look at this one's 30 cents.
Yes.
Was the other one 25 still?
Yep. Still
Okay.
only 25.
So this is September of 1975 when they jumped to 30 cents, I believe.
So by this time, I believe...
Or early
When did
1976.
the Planet of the Apes TV show start? That was right around that time, maybe 77? I'm trying to remember exactly.
That could be.
Right around that time. But I think most of the Planet of the Apes films had already...
They were already made in the 60s, like
Yeah,
64, 65, 66,
Yeah.
right?
And then here we
Planet of the Apes, Return of the Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
And here's number 9. We're winding down. Skeletons on there.
And in this past decade, they've made at least 3 of them, right? And then
they're very good at it.
And then they did one in 2001 with Tim Burton. He did one with Mark Wahlberg.
That's right. That's right. So here's the final issue, number 11. As you can see,
looks like the bomb going off, kind of like probably I'm gonna guess and say a parallel to Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Which was the people that were affected by the radiation when Charlton Heston goes underground and sees the New York subways destroyed.
Yep.
Definitely a good movie.
Yep.
We pray to the bomb and the holy fallout.
Yep.
That's what they used to say.
I know.
Now I'm going to say goodbye. I'm
Yes.
Wild Bill saying thanks for watching our More Monsters Part 3. And we've got more things coming at you like Random Barbarians. Stay tuned for that one.
Yes. And I wouldn't bet that this is going to be the final monster episode because we're
still
always on
buying.
the search for monster stuff.
We got more Comic Cons coming up in the next month or so, so I'm sure we'll have some more stuff.
Yep. So till next time, guys.
Thanks
take
for
care.
watching.
We'll see you.